Namaskar and welcome to Sports Buzz with me, Deepika, your window to daily sports news and updates from across the world. In the next half an hour today, we will take you across updates from the world of cricket, badminton, football and a lot more. But first up, the headlines. PV Sidhu and Kidambi to lead India's challenge at the Indonesia Open starting in Bali. The tournament will feature all Indian shuttlers that competed at last week's Indonesia Masters. Odisha all set to host Junior Men's Hockey World Cup starting from Wednesday. Title holders, India will seek inspiration from Olympic bronze medalist seniors. Barcelona's match against Benfica later tonight in UEFA Champions League. Barcelona's boss Xavi Hernandez says he's relishing the challenge of facing Benfica in the Champions League. Chelsea too will take on unbeaten leaders Juventus in yet another match. And Masood Shah Rukh Khan's dramatic six leads Tamil Nadu to title victory at Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy in New Delhi's Arun Jaitley Stadium. And starting with badminton first, world champion PV Sidhu along with former world number 1 Kidambi will lead India's challenge at the Indonesia Open starting in Bali. The tournament will feature all Indian shuttlers that competed at last week's Indonesia Masters, where two Indians, Sidhu and Kidambi Srikanth, reached the semi-finals. The third-seeded Sidhu will begin her campaign against Japan's Aya Ohori, while Srikanth will face compatriot Pranoy. World number 16 B-Sai Praneeth will meet France's Thomas Junior Popov in the opening round. On the other hand, Lakshya Sen will face top seed and two-time world champion Kento Momota in his opening match, while Parupalli Kashyap square off with Singapore's Loh Keen Yew. While among other Indians in the fray, the six-seated men's double pairing of Satvik Sairaj, Rankit Reddy and Chirag Shetty has got a bye in the opening round itself. The women's doubles pair of Ashwini Ponappa and Sikki Reddy will face the fifth-seeded Bulgarian duo of Gabriela Steva and Stephanie. In mixed doubles, Ashwini will pair up with P. Sumit Reddy, while Sikki Reddy will play with Kapila. Juhi Devangan and Venkat Gaurav Prasad are also in the fray in the mixed doubles category. And moving on to cricket now, Shah Rukh Khan pulled off a heist with the last 6 ball to guide his team to a record third Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy title. While defending champion Tamil Nadu was left needing 60 runs to win from the last over after the top and middle order failed to score at an adequate rate. Shah Rukh Khan's unbeaten 33 of 15 balls was instrumental in taking his team over the line from a precarious 57 to win of 28 balls. Inserted by Tamil Nadu, Karnataka was rocked by 3 early strikes before Abhinav Manohar's rescue act took the team past 100. Praveen Dubey and Jagdish Suchit's cameo steered a Karnataka to a competitive 151 for 7 with 42 runs coming in the last 3 overs. And Kane Williamson-led New Zealand would look to win their first ever series in India when they take on Ajinkya Rahane and his boys in the first test in Kanpur. The probability remains low. Well, on paper, New Zealand never excelled in this part of the world. On the other hand, India has also got a home ground benefit. New Zealand won their first match test back in the year 1969 against India, followed by another win in the year 1988. Hard to comprehend this, but New Zealand haven't won a test in India since that day. Well, both the teams had dished out some boring draws at the turn of this century. For instance, when the Kiwis toured India in October in the year 2003, the two-match test series was a draw. The following decade saw some indecisive cricket, but all of that took a turn since 2012 when New Zealand started to push India. And Deaf Cricket Premier League is also being organized in Bhopal by the Deaf Cricket Association. 8 cricket teams from all over the country are participating in this tournament organized at Faith Cricket Club. From the tournament, players will also be selected for the upcoming Deaf Cricket World Cup. The Deaf Cricket World Cup is scheduled to be held in Qatar in the month of March 2022. The selection committee for the World Cup includes Chief Coach MP Singh, Coach Devdutt. Many international level players are also joining the Deaf Cricket League. Well, moving on to hockey now. FIH Odisha Hockey Men's Junior World Cup is all set to kick-start from Wednesday, the 24th of November. In their first group stage match, India will be up against France. And with just one day to go, Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik shared the pictures of the stadium, which is all set to host the international event. And talking about some international football now, Barcelona midfielder Pedri has won the 2021 Golden Boy Award for the best under-21 player playing in a European country's top division. 18 years old, Pedri beat England and Borussia Dortmund midfielder Jude Bellingham to the award by a record 199 points. He played more minutes than any other Barca player last season, going on to play at Euro 2020 and win Olympic silver with Spain. However, he has not played since September because of a thigh injury. Well, Pedri joined Barca from La Palmas in 2020 and signed a new deal in October with the Catalan club, which includes a €1 billion release clause. And seeking to assure themselves of a place in the last 16 of the Champions League, Barcelona welcome Benfica to Camp Nou tonight. The Catalan powerhouses will hope that lightning does not strike twice against Jesus' side, who sunk Barca 3-0 when the sides met earlier in Group E. As Bayern Munich ride off into the sunset, Barcelona are performing a slow crawl to the finish line by comparison, but all 3 points in front of their own fans will guarantee them their rightful place in the knockout stages. The Camp Nou faithful will need no reminding of how they were swept aside by Benfica during Ronald Koeman's reign, and the Dutchman had cleared out his office before the trip to Dynamo Kiev on match day 4. Well, Sergi Berjão led side 1-0 and thanks to Enzo Fati's 70th minute effort. Xavi's reign as Blaugrana head coach officially kicked off with Sunday's visit to Espanyol in the Barcelona derby, during which a Memphis Depay penalty in the 48th minute saw the Catalans get off to the perfect start in La Liga under their legendary midfielder Maestro. Well, currently the second in Group E with 6 points to their name. Barcelona are at risk of being usurped by Benfica should they fall to defeat against the Portuguese giants once more. And a draw here will hardly be satisfactory given that they face runaway leaders Bayern on the final match day. And ahead of Barcelona's match against Benfica later tonight in UEFA Champions League, Barcelona boss Xavi Hernandez said on Monday he is relishing the challenge of facing Benfica in the Champions League as they look to average their defeat by the Portuguese side in Lisbon earlier in the campaign. Well, a win on Tuesday night will ensure Barcelona's entry into the last 16 of Europe's elite club competition with a match in their hand.
We need to show it on the pitch. Talking is easy and we can't show off. Barca is not in a moment to show off clearly, but we need to be optimistic, thinking positively and to think we have an opportunity tonight. And if we win, we are in the last 16. So that's what we need to think. We need to play the match, be positive, brave, to attack and try to get the 3 points. But we know the last match against Benfica we lost 3-0, so it's not going to be easy. But that's our reality right now.
While Manchester United's caretaker manager Michael Carrick led training for the first time, just 24 hours after manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked following a dreadful run of results. Solskjaer's dismissal came after United lost 4-1 at Watford, with Carrick placed in temporary charge while a replacement is found. Carrick, who played 316 times for the United, joined the coaching staff after retiring in the year 2018. He has the immediate problem of keeping United Champions League challenge on track when they travel to Spain to face Villarreal. Well, United currently tops Group F, but with the same points as Villarreal, heading them by virtue of winning their first match by 2-1, with Cristiano Ronaldo scoring a stoppage time winner. With Atalanta only 2 points behind and just one further round of matches to play on 8th of December, another defeat for United would put them in danger of missing out on the knockout phase of the competition. And Manchester United captain Harry Maguire says the players must share a big responsibility for manager Ole Gunnar sacking following a dreadful run of the results. The Norwegian parted company with the club on Sunday after nearly 3 years as permanent manager. Solskjaer's former assistant Michael Carrick has been put in temporary charge, while an interim manager is yet to be chosen. Speaking ahead of Tuesday's crucial Champions League clash away to Spanish club Villarreal, Maguire said Solskjaer's dismissal had been an emotional day for the squad.
Well, like I said, as a group of players, we take huge responsibility. We was in it together. I think as a group of lads, we've done everything we can. We've got a good group of lads, a good spirit, and the lads are giving everything. The lads want to succeed. But ultimately, the recent performances and the recent results haven't been good enough. And yeah, of course, we take a large amount of responsibility for that. But that's football, and we know that. So, yeah, the manager come in and he spoke to us, and like I say, it was an emotional day, and everyone's got a huge amount of respect for Ollie and what he's done for the club. He's a legend of the club, and he will remain a legend of the club. So. Yeah, I don't want to go into too much depth about what he said, but he wished us well. He said he'll be supporting us. He said we need to get back on track.
Yeah, sad day initially for me, and I wish all the very best. But on the flip side, football's football, and business is usual today in terms of we got a big game to prepare for tomorrow. It's a privilege for me to now sit in this position. I understand the responsibilities that come with that. And now it's a focus of flipping our minds and moving forward quickly. It's what this club does very well. It's what this club's done very well historically, and that's certainly the now. We're very much looking forward to the game tomorrow. Going over there and with a real positive mind and attitude, and the boys will be ready for it. So yeah, we can't wait for the game.
Emotional day for the team. Well, moving on to Chelsea now. Group 8's top 2 clash in London tonight in UEFA Champions League as Chelsea and unbeaten leaders Juventus battle it out for supremacy in their Champions League section. While the Old Lady triumphed in Turin when the clubs last met before going on to seal progress for the last 16 with 4 wins from 4, the reigning champions are just a point away from confirming their place in the knockout stages. After maintaining their 3-point lead at the top of the Premier League table with a routine win at Leicester City on Saturday, informed Chelsea will shift their focus to prolonging their defence of the Champions League trophy they lifted for the second time last May. While sitting second in the group behind this week's opponents, their only defeat so far came in a close-fought encounter at the Allianz Stadium back in September as a 1-0 Juventus win was secured by Federico Chiesa's goal at the start of the second half. Well, those were the only points dropped by the Blues to date after an opening win at home to Zenit was followed by dominant victories against Malmo on each of the last 2 match days. And Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel will take a late call on striker Romelu Lukaku for tonight's Champions League group home game against Juventus, but said that midfielder Jorginho was fit after coming off against Leicester City at the weekend. Lukaku has not featured since injuring his ankle in their 4-0 home win against Malmo last month, but was expected to return to action against the Italians.
Not sure yet. We have one more training. Yesterday he was in team training and seemed okay. Let's see about the reaction. He has right now in the next minutes an appointment with the doctors and physios to see about the reaction, see about the next training. Maybe, I mean, we have the chance to bring 20 players to the squad. Maybe we have the chance that he is in the squad for the last minutes. That will be the absolute maximum what we can get out of the situation right now. Josh is absolutely okay. We had to take Kai off because of hamstring problems. He felt a bit of tension in the hamstrings, so we took him off, and we have some doubts with him. We need to check and see if he can train without any problems. So this is more or less the question mark. Timo feels good. He was in training yesterday. He's back in the squad again. And Mateo Kovacic is out, and that's it.
Well, Lukaku's inclusion in the team tonight is yet to be decided. Let's move on to Bayern now. Having already sealed their place in the last 16 of the Champions League, Bayern Munich travel to Dynamo Kiev for tonight's Group E clash. Julian Nagelsmann's side have taken 12 points from 12 to sit at the top of the rankings, whereas the Ukrainian hosts are last with just 1 point to their name. Well, Bayern Munich's unparalleled ruthlessness has been evident for a number of years now, and Nagelsmann's side needed no second invitation to sweep aside the competition in Group E and ease into the last 16 for the 14th year in succession. The Bundesliga champions conceded their first 2 goals of the group stage last time out to Benfica, but hit back with 5 of their own against the Portuguese giants, with Robert Lewandowski netting 3, while Leroy Sané and Serge Gnabry also got in on the act. Well, from football, it's now time to talk about F1. Lewis Hamilton says that he wants his legacy to Formula One to be able to create greater diversity within the sport and not just be remembered as possibly the greatest driver of all times. The 36-year-old Englishman is currently involved in a thrilling battle with Dutchman Max Verstappen for the 2021 driver's title, trailing him by 8 points with 2 races yet to go. Well, Hamilton already has 7 world championships under his belt and 102 race wins, both of them record creating. But speaking recently at the Mercedes factory, Hamilton said he wants his legacy to F1 to be seen to have made the sport even more diverse.
It starts with education. So I was like, I'm gonna do this research because no one else is doing it. Try and find out what the barriers are, why people aren't applying. These are the facts. These are the facts, these are the issues, these are the barriers, and this is how we can work together to implement change.
Lewis Hamilton wants his legacy to continue and should be the one that shall create greater diversity within the sport and not just be remembered as possibly the greatest driver of all time.
I think I always wanted to be remembered as one of the best drivers of all time. Probably deep down, I wanted to be remembered, working towards being the greatest driver of all time. Having all these championships is a cool thing, for sure, but what do you do with all those, right? So I really hope my legacy, when people look back in 10, 20 years, they look back and see a more diverse sport. It's because I challenge the sport and I challenge individuals that are in power.
The 36-year-old Englishman is currently involved in a thrilling battle with Dutchman Max Verstappen for the 2021 drivers' title, trailing him by 8 points with 2 races to go. Lewis Hamilton already has won 7 world championships under his belt and 102 races, both of them records. But speaking recently at the Mercedes factory, Hamilton said he wants his legacy of F1 to be seen to have made the sport even more diverse.
I feel like I've lived up to my potential. That's ultimately the goal. I guess the deepest fear is to not live to your potential. I don't win a race and go, wow, I'm great. Never ever felt that. I'm just always thinking, okay, how can I be better? It lasts for a short moment, the success. But then straight away your mind's on, well, actually, what people didn't see is, I lost a bit of time there, or I could have been better here through the pit stops. So it's a never-ending cycle of searching for perfection.
Hamilton, who is a global ambassador for Puma's Only Secret campaign, which they say aims to spread hope and optimism, said that even now he is still the only person of color in the driver's briefing.
In meetings, I'm the only person of color there. I arrive at the race, even still today, I will continue in the driver's briefing, the only person of color there. So the goal ultimately is to create an ecosystem that reflects the outer world, right? Creating opportunities is what it's about. And so it goes all the way down to education, which is really where it all starts.
The Mercedes driver earlier called on influential figures in the sport to contribute more and help in creating a diversified environment. Hamilton is the first and so far the only black driver in the history of Formula One. He's been at the forefront of his team's campaign for equality following the murder of George Floyd in the year 2020. Mercedes switched the color of its livery from its traditional silver to black in support of Black Lives Matter, a campaign Hamilton has vocally supported. Sports Desk, DD India. Well, England manager Gareth Southgate has signed a new contract to keep him in the role until December 2024. Southgate, whose previous contract was set to run out after the 2022 Winter World Cup in Qatar, has been manager of the national side since November 2016. Southgate led England to the final of Euro 2020, their best men's performance in 55 years, in the month of July. Well, Southgate will oversee England's progress at next year's World Cup, which runs from 21st of November till 18th of December, and the qualification stages for the Euro 2024, with the tournament taking place from 14th of June till 14th of July. Well, assistant manager Steve Holland has also agreed a new deal through to the end of 2024. And the Azzurri, less than 6 months on from their success at the 2020 UEFA European Championship, find themselves having to reach the Qatar halfway. This despite having started their campaign in strong fashion before a post-Euro wobble and a destructive UEFA Nations League campaign halted their progress. Let's take a look at how Italy crashed from Cinderella Euro 2020 winners to the brink of a World Cup disaster. How Group C was turned on its head. 3 matches in, Italy boasted a 100% record with 6 goals scored, none conceded, and appeared to be moving towards the top spot. Then they were cursed by Euro success. After their triumph in London, points were immediately dropped against Bulgaria and Switzerland before further ground was eaten away by Murat Yakin's Swiss team, while the Italians were finishing third in the Nations League. The Swiss once again held firm against their Azzurri for another draw, and coupled with convincing wins over Northern Ireland and Lithuania, while Roberto Mancini's side drew blank against Northern Ireland in their final group game. Major Euro hangover. Looking at the results post-Euro, this Italy side has clearly suffered from a hangover after their success, with all 8 points dropped since that memorable day at Wembley Stadium, with 4 of those coming against Switzerland, with 2 missed Giacchino penalties to both. Unbeaten, run broken. Of equal importance was the loss to Spain during the Nations League Final Four, which saw Italy's massive 37-game unbeaten streak ended before a recovery with a win over Belgium to finish third. Italy's black hole in attack. Italy's biggest problem is the attack. For too long, they haven't had a top striker capable of carrying the team and fighting for every ball. Portugal have Cristiano Ronaldo, England have Harry Kane, France have Karim Benzema, and Poland have Robert Lewandowski. They all are important teams with small tactical and technical problems solved with the strength of a great centre forward who offers a constant supply of goals. Italy has a black hole in attack in which all their forward from the last decade have slipped into. Since Christian, Italy have sorely lacked a true number 9 to spearhead the front line. What next for Italy? Italy will likely still make it to Qatar via the playoffs, but they are now at serious risk of missing their second straight World Cup. They will now have to go through that agony once more, which will undoubtedly bring back the ghosts of the 2018 when Sweden advanced 1-0 at their expense. It was those circumstances which paved the way for Mancini to come in and turn the Azzurri's fortune around, but there is little debating that this is a stronger Italian side than the one humiliated under Gianpiero Ventura. The draw will be made later this month, and expectedly, whoever they get will view their opponents as beatable over 2 legs. Sports Desk, DD India. Well, with this, it's a wrap for now, but news continues here on DD India, so keep watching and tracking. Namaskar.